Unit 12. Leadership. Recording 12.1.
What qualities are needed to run a large company effectively?
The leader of a large company needs to do three things. Firstly, to create a picture of where the whole team is meant to be going. What is this journey, the change, and the way forward? And particularly, what is my role or your role going to be in that journey? So that's vision. The second thing is inspiration, which is a very personal thing, but great leaders manage to inspire the people that they work with. And thirdly, because all businesses need to move forward and make money, momentum. They manage to create the momentum and make sure that people are moving forward with the various projects that are under their control.
Recording 12.2.
And how do you help leaders to develop their skills?
We think that the way that people develop is 70-20-10, which means that 70% of the way they develop is on the job, 20% is through coaching by somebody else, and only 10% is by training. So the vast majority of how somebody learns anything, and particularly how they learn to be a better leader, is on-the-job training. And what that means for the career of somebody is that they need to experience a lot of different types of activity, lots of different roles and lots of different challenges. And only then can they start to build up a range of experiences and a range of skills in leading people in different situations.
Recording 12.3.
Which leaders have influenced or impressed you?
This is always a very difficult question because the people who have influenced me may be people that nobody else has ever heard of. So whenever I am asked this question, I always have to give the examples of very famous people, but unfortunately these are people that I haven't personally worked with. So there is a bit of a problem always with this question. However, Nelson Mandela is someone who has always impressed me. In addition to the vision and inspiration and momentum that we mentioned earlier, he also has some magical charisma even via the television screen and is clearly able to move people to action. The second would be Winston Churchill, because I think he's a very interesting example of somebody who was a very good leader for one era in England, Britain's history, although he was not seen to be a very good leader at a different era. So I think he's a good example of a man who was good for one time but not for another. And then I have Bernie Ellis, who was a postman, who coached our rowing boat when I was at university. Nobody else will have heard of him except the 8 people in the boat. But he was a brilliant leader because he was very down to earth and he managed to inspire us to row very fast.
Recording 12.4.
OK, the main item on the agenda is whether we should sell our store in Paris. I'd like to hear your opinions about this. But first of all, can you give us the background, Michel?
Yes. As you all know, we opened the store in Boulevard Jourdan 5 years ago. We hoped it would be a base for expansion into other areas of France, but it hasn't been a success. It hasn't attracted enough customers, and it's made losses every year. As I see it, it's going to be very difficult to get a return on our investment.
I agree. There's no possibility it'll make a profit. It's in the wrong location, there's too much competition, and our products don't seem to appeal to French people. We should never have entered the market. It was a mistake. We should sell out as soon as possible.
I don't agree with that at all. Things have gone wrong there, it's obvious. The management's let us down badly. They haven't adapted enough to market conditions. But it's far too early to close the business down. I suggest we bring in some marketing consultants, a French firm if possible, and get them to review the business. We need more information about where we're going wrong.
I totally agree with you. It's too early to close down the store, but I am worried about the store's location. We're an upmarket business. But most of the stores in the area have moved down market, selling in the lower price ranges. That's a problem. I think we have to make changes very soon. I mean, our losses are increasing every year. We just can't go on like this. We may have to revise our strategy. Maybe we made a mistake in choosing France for expansion.
Well, thanks for your opinions. I think on balance we feel we should keep the store going for a while. So the next thing to do is to appoint a suitable firm of marketing consultants to find out what our problems are and make recommendations. Personally, I'm convinced the store will be a success if we get the marketing mix right. We've got to get the store back into profit. We've invested a lot of money in it.
Recording 12.5.
I don't think it will be too difficult to improve the store's performance. I suggest you review your product ranges as soon as possible and stop promoting those items which aren't making any money. What you need is more knowledge of the youth market. They're the consumers who are spending most money on clothes. You should target that segment of the market. Also, I think you should hire a top executive to run that part of the business. Someone with a really good track record in the retail fashion trade. I could suggest names if you wish. You need to take a hard look at other parts of the business. I'm not happy with the furniture department in the store. It takes up a lot of space and isn't making any money. To be honest, I just don't think it'll ever make much money. I also have doubts about your stationery department. Is it really worth keeping? The answer to your problems is to do something quickly to stop profits falling and turn the store around. So, this is what you should do now, in my opinion. Reduce your range of products, cut out the loss makers. Hire a new executive with experience of the fashion clothing business. Close down furniture and possibly stationery. OK? Any questions?
Recording 12.6.
Here are some ideas, in no particular order that we can think about. Some of them you may think are a bit crazy or not practical, but hear me out. I know of one CEO who sends out birthday cards with his signature and a personal message to every employee. We could try that. We could also start a company magazine. It may be a bit expensive, but I think it could really help. I know one of our competitors has an Employee of the Month scheme. It's very popular. Staff nominate a colleague who has done well in some way. The employee selected gets a company gift. I would also like to get out of my office frequently this year and drop in on staff at the different stores. And should we have an open door policy in every store? Employees can then see the manager when they want to. Now, this sounds crazy, but what about having a company uniform? This type of thing seems to work well in Asian countries. It creates loyalty and good team spirit. Another thing I've been thinking about is to cancel the end-of-year bonus scheme. It's very expensive, and spend the money instead on Christmas parties at top hotels. Finally, I'd like to see a new appraisal scheme. I haven't thought about the details, but it should reward high achievers generously.